Hello folks, getting out and about on the motorbike today. It's 5 degrees, not a breath of wind in the air, so I thought I'd take advantage of this. I've been away for the weekend, away down to friends down the west coast. Had a great time, of course drank too much. I've not been drinking wine, but by Jove we shifted a few. Great fun. Wife was with us, we're friends with a couple. I worked with them over 20 years ago and I've kept in touch ever since, so it's been great. So today's about just getting out on the bike. I thought I'd give you an update on some of the things that's happening. I've just serviced the Royal Enfield. I have done the valve clearances, they were needing it, they were a bit tight. Oil and filter change had been done just before I went off to Shetland, and the bike's hardly been used since then. Just not had time to do it, just been busy doing other things. So the bike's serviced, that's all done. It's running wonderfully well. The tank was emptied and I went and filled it up, and when I went there it was only E10 on offer. So I'll want to run through this tank of fuel as quickly as possible so I could put E5 fuel in it. On the left is Dundee Castle. You can maybe just see it poking through the trees up on the left. I've showed you, I've let you see Dundee Castle in a past video. Nice place it is. It was a garrison of soldiers in there originally, many years ago, hundreds of years ago. So the bike's been done. And it's all running very nice. We're now in the city centre of Dundee. The building on the left, the red brick building, or the red building there, that's the DC Thomson's Empire building. The publishing people, they've been on the Dundee for all those of a certain age that remember that stuff. Across is McManus Galleries. It's a brilliant museum if you ever fancy going there. Now, Dundee city centre is quite a ghost town these days compared to what it used to be, but I'm sure we're not alone in that respect. Can't go down there, that's a pedestrian zone. Well, the bike's been serviced, as I've already mentioned, and my thoughts are already turning to can you see that? Didn't look. Actually, that's just reminded me, my horn's not working. There's a speed connector that's come off. I noticed it the other day. I've just forgotten to put it back on. I must have caught it when I was doing the service. My thoughts are now turning towards the tours that I may want to go on next year. I had originally, look at that in a bus lane. You can't make it up, can you? Oh dear me. I would like to think I can get 2 tours next year. A big one and a maybe a 3 or 4 day one. The perfect balance would to be get 3 tours. And I've got 3 motorbikes. I've got the NT1100, I've got the NC750X, and I've got this little beauty, the Classic 350. This is student land, by the way. That's Dundee University to the right. Well, some of the buildings are everywhere, all down there. It's a huge campus. One of my tours may well be to Europe. And two of the tours round the British Isles. So I would really like to do the Outer Hebrides. The real problem about the Outer Hebrides is twofold. One of them is the ferries are not brilliant, and accommodation's a bit hard to come by, and it's very expensive. But we'll see. So that's one possible. The west coast of Ireland would be another that I'd like to do, and both of those. There's an NC, nice looking bike. That's the Dundee rep. I've been there for a while, mind you. And that's the DCA. I'll go in there in a couple of weeks with a couple of friends, and we'll have a good time. Behind a brand new zero emission bus. Yeah, right. So the second tour, one tour, long tour onto the continent again, and at least one tour round the UK, possibly Ireland. And if I could, I would want to do a third short tour of maybe 3 or 4 days, and that would be down to the Lake District and do the passes on the motorbike. I've done some of the passes in a car, but I've not done it on a motorbike, and I'd like to do the Hard Knock pass. So that's my thinking on the tours for next year, and I would like to take each of the bikes on a tour. I've bought a top box for the NC, paid a grand sum of £10 off of Gumtree, and it's actually in decent condition. I've got all the bits for it. It locks, it's got a key, it's got the odd scratch here and there, but it's perfect. And I'm going to respray the top of it to match the white of the NC. I won't use it very often, but when I go away, a bit of hard luggage to secure some of my kit. This is Perth Road, by the way, in Dundee. A couple of decent drinking outlets along here. Busy with the more mature, so the Tay Bridge, that's one of them. See if I get past this blinking bus. They're choking me with their smugness of zero emissions. And there's the second pub that's excellent, the Speedwell. Nice ales, nice beer, nice atmosphere. And ye oldie pubs. I would really like to take this Enfield to Europe. think it would be the perfect bike for Europe. But I don't know. Maybe it's just fanciful. But other people have done it. But I just love riding this motorbike. This motorbike is tremendous. It is so fulfilling. The chug of that engine. The comfort of the bike. But we'll see. The NT is such a tremendous bike for gobbling up the miles, and it's got great weather protection, because that's one thing this thing lacks. When I was coming back from Shetland, there's a lovely view. When I was coming back from Shetland the last day, it was torrential rain for most of the day, and I got a good dousing. In all truth, it wasn't so great riding about, getting gale force winds and rain slapping against you in all directions. So that's downside with this bike, is the lack of protections. But the NT and the NC, in fact, all provide good levels of protection, which is what you want when you're on longer journeys. But I definitely will do one tour on this bike, the same that I did last year. I will aim to do one piece of work on, there we go, it's having a good look, one piece of work, one tour on the NC and one tour on the NT. So, you know, if you imagine I take this to Europe, this Classic, where I'm likely to get better weather but not guaranteed, far more likely than staying in the UK, that's for absolutely sure. Here we are, we're down in Magdalen Green in Dundee, down in the West End. Some cracking houses. You stay there, Mr. Van. We've got a road closed. Yeah, so that's that one. There we go, there's a train coming across the Tay rail bridge. They're doing tons of work down here. They're laying, I think it's fibre cables along here from what I remember. It's comms people anyway. In the distance you'll see the bandstand, and in the summer you get the bands, the brass bands and stuff like that playing down there. So let's just for a moment say that I take this abroad. I would then take the NT to the islands, to one of the islands, the Outer Hebrides, or indeed the Republic of Ireland, down the west coast. Now, they only dug this up a couple of days ago, and already it's filled in and covered over. The difference between private enterprises, profit and loss, and public sector is amazing. If that was the local authority doing that, it'd be like opened up for weeks. Anyway, whinge over back to my thinking on the tour, and then I would take the NC down to the Lake District. Now, I would also like to take this bike down to the Lake District, so I've got a lot of thinking to do. And that's my thoughts on trips for 2024. I had originally thought I could get Norway done in 2024, but for one reason and another, that is not going to happen, unfortunately. So maybe 2025. I'm still huffing and having about Europe, about what I want to do and where I want to go. And that's where we are on my little tours for 2024.